Well, hello again. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Thursday, so we're getting close to the end of the week. I want to do a video here again about narcissism, and I want to talk about triangulation. Something I've spoken about in the last few videos, at least touched upon, but I want to specifically talk about one of the narcissist's biggest tools, which is triangulation, because I think it's absolutely deadly. And I mean this maybe a little bit metaphorically, but I actually also mean this quite literally. I want to share with you guys at the end of this video a little story that is true that I think you're going to be a little shocked by, and it really drives home the nature of the narcissist triangulation. So triangulation, if you guys don't remember, basically it's just when the narcissist brings a third party or a third something into the relationship in order to manipulate you or invoke a response, typically jealousy. So what triangulation will normally be is when they'll bring someone else into the picture of your relationship. Maybe that's an ex. Maybe that's, if it's a parent-child relationship, it's another child. Maybe if it's a coworker, or you've got the workplace bully, the boss that's a narcissist, he might bring in another coworker of yours to kind of push you a little bit and say, well, this person's doing it better than you are. Create that friction, manipulation. So triangulation is bringing that third person in to invoke a response. So in the romantic setting, this is really primarily where narcissism is, I think, the most potent form is in the romantic relationship. Though all narcissists do evil wherever they're at, don't get me wrong. But I think in the romantic relationship, that's where, if you haven't experienced a romantic relationship with a narcissist, you know that is really where they hit you. I've experienced narcissists all my life in my extended family and acquaintances and the workplace, but I didn't understand it until I went through it in the romantic relationship, because that is, I'm telling you, that's where it's the most potent. So let me bring up some things about that prove this, that the triangulation is deadly. So one thing they might do, they might look at somebody else when you're at dinner together. They love to just maybe look over a little too much at that person next to you. Maybe they're going to give a little wink. Maybe they're going to give the flirty eyes. Whatever it is they're doing, I'm telling you, they love to do this. And they love for you to catch them doing it, because that's how the triangulation occurs. If you don't know they're doing it, then it's not triangulation, really. They need you to notice. So they might do that, do the googly eyes with somebody at the dinner table. They might talk about an ex incessantly. Oh, my ex, Joshua was really intelligent. He was so intelligent. He was really good looking. He was really good. And they'll just bring these things up to you, knowing that as a partner, you don't want to hear this stuff about an ex. And they know that, and they do it on purpose to make you upset. They might do something simple. Well, I ran into an old fling, an old relationship at the pizza shop the other day. I was here or there, and, it was nothing major. We just ran into each other, just said hi. Now, why did they tell you that? They told you that to make you jealous, so you could vie and jockey for their attention. That's the only reason they did it. Not an accident. This is a good one. So remember, guys, these things I'm sharing with you may or may not have happened to me. Some of them have. Some of them are just experiences I know about. But they're all true. I promise you that. The narcissist might be at a bridal shower for somebody at work, and you might casually send them a text, say, "Hey, how's it going? You having a blast, having a great time?" Just pulling their throat a little bit, because maybe they didn't want to go. And they respond, "Actually, yeah, I'm having a really great time. This is awesome. And I met a really nice guy." Smirky face. Smirky face emoji. "And I met a really nice guy." Now imagine you're sending your partner a message. They're at a bridal shower or a bachelor party or whatever it is, and you're going to say, "How's it going?" And their response to you is, "I met somebody of the same sex and they're really nice." Why do they do that? triangulation to invoke jealousy. It's unbelievable. What do they do then? So they'll do these things. They'll bring up the X. They'll throw these little teasers out at you, and then the beauty of it is, if you so much as even hint that it's unacceptable, or say, why you always bring other people up? Why you always bringing an X into the relationship? Why you always talking about a guy at work that comes down and maybe checks on your computer or whatever too? Like, why do you do that? I don't like it. You're so insecure. You're so insecure. You need to go work on yourself. Yeah, I've never met a more insecure man. I've never met a more insecure person in my life. You're so jealous. You're so territorial. That's what you're going to get. That's what I got. That's what every narcissist does. They will push you and push you and push you and push you with triangulation. And then if you finally even so much as ask a question, why are you doing that? They're going to tell you you're insecure. And what is that? That's blame shifting. And that's projection. And because they're never going to take responsibility. And so they did this intentionally to you. And then they're going to get upset at you because you don't like it. Imagine you're, just say, walking at a grocery store and your partner notices a really attractive person, or not even a really attractive person, just someone. And they just casually mention that they're good looking, or, oh, I wish they'd bend over again, or just anything like that. This is the stuff they do. Why'd they do it? To triangulate you. If you guys have had experiences like this, I'd love to hear yours. There are just infinite number of ways this can happen. So drop comments below if you've experienced this. I know I have. It is miserable. Some people that have dealt with narcissists a lot, and myself included, would agree with this. I think triangulation is the worst thing that these people do. There's nothing more degrading than having your partner bring up other people knowing full well you're going to be upset about it, and doing it strictly for the purpose of making you feel insecure, of making you wonder if this person's invested in the relationship, of just making you doubt yourself. So really think about this practice. If you sit and analyze the stuff I'm telling you, why people would do this, why the narcissist does this, it gets back to the point that I'm always bringing up. Narcissism is evil. These are evil things to do to your spouse or your partner. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, is that really that big of a deal? They bring up an ex, yes, it is. It is. Because over the course of time, these aren't isolated events. Over the course of time, months, even years if you're that long into it, that far into it, this wears on you. Okay? And it's part of their overall arsenal. So the triangulation fits right along with their devaluation, their criticism, stonewalling, silent treatment, blame shifting, projection, gaslighting. All of these things combine into this deadly toxin. And when you drink that thing, it screws with you majorly. It does. So don't think for a second it's not a big deal. And the triangulation is a pivotal part of it. Because like I said, it's just a natural human response to be protective of the person you're with. And when they're constantly bringing another person or other people into the mix, making you feel insecure, man, does it beat down on your confidence. And then what do? Like I said, they add insult to injury. You're so insecure. Oh my gosh, you're the most insecure man I've ever met. You're the most insecure woman I've ever met in my life. This is what they do to you. Triangulation. But if you don't think that triangulation is evil, as is everything these people do, then let me provide another example to you. Not something happened to me personally, but something I know of in my general circle, my sphere of existence, and this is going to shock you. So imagine that maybe you know somebody who was in a relationship. Let's just say you know they're a narcissist, or at least you know they're an evil person. And they are with their spouse, and all they ever do is smear this spouse. He's terrible, he's wicked, he's the most horrible person, he's awful. He's everything in a person you could hate. Imagine that's all you ever hear. Then imagine that spouse commits suicide. Imagine that person was driven pretty much insane by the narcissist that we're talking about. The narcissist we're talking about, berated, gaslit, triangulated, barraged this person with abuse to the point where finally they had reached their end. And imagine then maybe that narcissist, when that person is down and out, moves out and discards them and leaves them for another person. Imagine that happens. And then imagine that person commits suicide because they just can't handle all of it. So first of all, this is what narcissists do. It's not cute. It's not fun and games. People lose their lives from narcissistic abuse. I've seen it happen. You maybe have too. Tons of people have. Because they beat you down to the point where you don't even know who you are anymore, and you don't even want to live. And then let's just say to finally put the cherry on the sundae, they discard you for someone you know and leave you high and dry in your most depressed state. Yeah, so this person commits suicide because of it. Now imagine this. Fast forward several years. That narcissist that caused the person to commit suicide now talks about him like he's a saint and goes to his grave site regularly. They hated this person in life, smear campaigned them to death, caused them to commit suicide, but now they're going to go to their grave site all the time and mourn and weep and, oh, woe with me. I lost the love of my life that I hated and I barraged and smeared and caused to commit suicide. Imagine now, too, that narcissist has a new supply that they married. Okay? They're still going to go to the gravesite of their ex all the time and throw pity parties and mourn and weep. Now, imagine how you would feel if you were that spouse, that you're married to someone who's supposed to be the love of your life, and they basically just go and visit their deceased ex all the time. Imagine first how you'd feel about that. Now imagine, and here's the kicker, and here is the sickest thing, and this illustrates why triangulation is evil, and why the narcissist is evil. This narcissist isn't going to the gravesite of their deceased ex whom they drove to suicide. They're not going there because they genuinely miss them. They're not going there because they really are mourning the loss and they really deeply loved that individual. No, they're not. Do you know why the narcissist oftentimes goes to the gravesite of a deceased ex? Think about it. Why do they do it? Well, let me tell you. They do it so they can triangulate the person they're currently with. Yeah, believe it. Brian, are you telling me that somebody would actually use a deceased ex to triangulate their current spouse? Who would do it? A narcissist would do it. Yes. I don't know how common this is, guys. I assume it's not an isolated event. It is something I know of in a personal experience that has happened. But I'm going to assume it actually happens a lot. And why would a narcissist talk about their deceased ex or go and visit their gravesite incessantly all the time and drop flowers and sit there and want and cry? And why would they do it? To triangulate the current spouse they're with. Because every time they go to the gravesite, that spouse knows they're still completely hung up on their ex. They're so hung up on that ex that they go and mourn at that person's gravesite all the time. Yet they're supposed to be married to me and love me, and I'm supposed to be the key and central person in their lives. Yet they're still having this romance kind of with the dead person. Guys, believe it. They do these things. Narcissists gaslight you. They triangulate you. They smear you. They project onto you. They give you silent treatment. They ghost you for days on end. They do all these things. But I'm going to tell you, the triangulation, in my opinion, is the worst. Nothing is worse than knowing the person you're with is not really attached to you, and that they are attached to other people, and that you're not good enough, and that they want you to know that somebody else is always waiting there, that they get attention, that they could have another person, that you don't mean anything. As I shared with you guys on a recent video, I heard from the horse's mouth, i.e. the narcissist I knew, that people are disposable. And they all feel that way. It's not just that one. All narcissists feel that way. Believe it. So yes, narcissists are going to triangulate you all the time. They're going to constantly push that boundary and bring other people into the mix, whether it's at a dinner table, whether it's telling you about an old ex. And let me tell you one more thing they'll do before I go. They will make up names of people who don't even exist. Now, you don't really ever know for sure, but they might just bring up a name pops into their mind of a person, and they say, oh, this person's name is Bill. And, wait a minute, I dated a guy named Bill. Huh, I forgot about Bill. Did Bill ever exist? Was there a Bill? No one knows. I'm going to tell you that a lot of times there wasn't. A lot of times they just brought that name up and brought it into existence, spoken into existence, just to triangulate you. And just so you wonder, Bill, who's that? Where do they fit in the mix? When did you date? Guys, they do this stuff. They will triangulate you with the living. They'll triangulate you with the dead. And they will even triangulate you with people who don't exist. Yeah. This is the warped mind of the narcissist. Don't even try to fully understand it. Don't ever think you're going to sit back one day and crack every code that exists. Because we're talking about evil. Who can fathom the depths of Satan? Who can fathom the depths of the narcissist? So guys, the narcissist triangulation is evil. And it is deadly. And I mean that literally and metaphorically. So guys, I hope this made sense to you. If you have experienced anything along these lines, or just have a comment, I'd love to hear from you. I'll be back later with another video. I think next we're going to be talking probably about how thoroughly narcissists plan evil. Something of that sort. But, alright guys, thanks a lot. Tune back in if you like this content. Until then, God bless.